Tuesday, the 2nd of January. Today we're going to write the opening of a newspaper. The structure of a newspaper report. This is what we looked at yesterday, and yesterday we completed the headline for our newspaper report, but today we're going to do the second part, the lead paragraph, which is highlighted in yellow. It's only short, so let's see what might go into it. For a good lead paragraph, you need to make the paragraph short and snappy so that it briefly explains what happened. This is not the time for long sentences. Ensure that even if the reader stopped reading at this point, they would still know roughly what has happened. Use past tense in most cases, so that will be words with ed ending, and make sure the first paragraph answers as many of these 6 questions as you can: who, what, where, why, when, and how. So that's what we're looking for. In our paragraph for the Little Red Riding Hood newspaper article, I've highlighted it here so you can see exactly how the writer puts in the who, what, where, when, and why. So who is it? It's Little Red Riding Hood. What happened? She was swallowed by a wolf, then rescued by a woodcutter. Where? The forest. When? Yesterday afternoon. Why? The wolf was hungry. And all of those things have been put together into that paragraph. And it says, yesterday afternoon, a young girl and her grandmother miraculously survived a run-in with a ravenous wolf. Little Red Riding Hood was visiting her grandmother's cottage in the forest when both were swallowed alive by the creature. However, luck was on their side, as a local woodcutter was on hand to cut them free. And if you stopped reading at that point, you would know the full story, or you could keep reading for more detail. But today, we're just giving those brief details, the brief facts. Finding the facts. Newspaper reports use facts to tell their stories. They often use the 5 W's: who, what, why, when, and where, to give their readers as many facts as possible. Often a reporter has to do a lot of research to find out all the facts. So hopefully we do. If you need to listen back to the lesson from last week, please follow the link in the instructions in Dojo. This is the lesson that might help you, the one from last Wednesday, to know the history of my local area. Because we're writing about Astley Deep Pit disaster, we need to know the who, what, where, when, and why of that event to write our paragraph. Please pause it now or go back and have a look and see if you can remind yourself about all of the things that happened. So the key information, this is what you need to write down. Think about who was involved in that disaster, which people were there, what happened to those people, where did it happen, when did it happen as well, what was the date, and why, what were the reasons for it happening, for the disaster happening and the explosion. So when you found out all of those key pieces of information, then you'll be ready to start writing. I went and had a look, and I think that these are the facts that we're going to need to include. So who was it? There was 54 men and boys, and what happened to them? They were miners, they were killed or injured. Where did it happen? Astley Deep Pit in Duckenfield. When? The 14th of April, 1874. And why? There was a gas explosion when the roof of a tunnel collapsed. Okay, so we could include all of these details. The only one that I might change could be the when, because it's a newspaper article. I might say last Thursday or yesterday, and then make the date on my newspaper match up so that it still matches to the 14th of April, 1874. That might be important to put at the top. So now, the final bit of our task. We're going to turn these facts into 2 or 3 snappy sentences. Have a look at the facts that you can combine together. Which facts could go in a sentence next to each other and could link? How can you include them into a nice sentence that does still make sense? Remember that you shouldn't be too long. It should be a nice, short, snappy paragraph that tells the reader everything they need to know about this terrible, tragic event. Looking forward to seeing your responses.